Okay, I'm going to tell you a success story that explains beautifully how you don't need affirmations, you don't need imaginal acts necessarily to end up manifesting your SP or the money, okay? This is going to prove to you that what truly matters is your consciousness, okay? So there's some big booty right there. There was a very rich individual who was one of the best in his field, okay, at doing what he was doing. But one day he decided to be a dumbass and he tweeted something, and long story short, he got, fired from the company, right? And the thing is he was extremely successful for this company, but this company has a big name, and so they didn't want his comments to come back and make them look bad, basically. So he said that the day that he got fired, despite the fact that he had millions in his account, he realized that there was a chance he had to sell his house, okay? And there was a chance that he was never going to get a job, right? But what was interesting is that the people who worked with him, they all texted him that day. They all gave him a call crying, saying, I can't believe this happened to you. We're going to miss you. This is unfair. Yada, 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 right? And, there he is just thinking that he's going to be homeless and he's going to have to fucking be eating ramen noodles the rest of his life, right? And he said that one of the things that was his whole childhood experience was he never really felt loved. He never really got that validation, like ever, okay? But when, in his darkest moment, he received all that love from these people who he worked with, despite the fact that there was no promise or assurance in the physical circumstances, in his physical 3D, as we say in the law of assumption. There was no evidence that everything was going to be okay. He said that he felt, this is key, he fell asleep feeling happy because he knew now, in his own words, he said, now I know that I'm actually loved. Like, he legit said that. And, I admire him because this guy is, if you haven't been able to figure out, he is the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, James Gunn, okay? And what ended up happening is he said he fell asleep feeling happy. And at the end of this interview, he said that, and it was after that, because he fell asleep feeling happy, it was what caused him to have the success that he has now. Well, what is he doing now? He was just a director for 3 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now he is the motherfucking head of DC. Okay, like in Marvel, they have Kevin Feige, the head of the Marvel films, right? But he's not director, but he probably makes way more money than the directors, right? Because he's the fucking head honcho. Well, this motherfucker, James Gunn, who got fired for saying some crazy shit on Twitter. I don't remember. I don't even know what the fuck he said. I don't even care. I think people judge too much for what people say on social media. Give me a fucking break, okay? Let's fucking see your browsing history, you cunt. But he's now the head of DC. I don't know if it's comics or if it's just the movies, but either way, he directed the last Superman film, and he's the head honcho. So he's clearly making more money than he ever did. Okay, isn't it something? After he just fucking fell asleep, realizing that he was loved. That is huge. That is probably the biggest example of manifestation I've seen in a while. Let's try this angle. So, 2 things here. What did he do that made it work, okay? Well, again, he had this assumption about himself that he wasn't loved. What do we talk about in the law of assumption? We know that whatever we assume must come true. Okay? Now look, yes, he had success making money in films with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think he even made Suicide Squad, but I mean, that didn't make as much success. But I mean, you know, these movies, anybody would take the fucking salary that these directors make over working at McDonald's, right? Okay, the big booty bitches, okay, ladies, we'll do autographs later, all right? Either ways. Hola, amigo, ¿cómo estás? But he made a good amount of money, right? And that's what I've always said. You can still have success when you have a low self-concept. You can. But not lasting success, right? And, you know, I just had a phone call with one of my clients last night, okay? He flat out told me that he got fired for some bullshit. Matter of fact, he got fired for the same shit that James Gunn got fired for making a silly comment. And somebody overheard it, they told HR, and next thing you know, they fired his ass. Look, I crashed the motherfucking catering van for my company, and they had to pay 20 plus K. I had to talk to HR face to face. And what did they tell me? They said, if it was anybody else, we would have fired you, but you have too many people vouching for you not to go. Was it because I'm that great of a worker? I'm going to be honest with you. If I wanted to, I could be the best worker in the company. But I'm doing it in autopilot now, right? I'm like Ronaldo on the pitch at this point. Like, it's, you know, it's whatever, okay? It's not because I'm this amazing worker. It's because I've always felt like they're not going to fucking fire me because I'm just blessed. That's literally my assumption, right? And I've done some crazy shit, okay? Bang coworkers. I mean, whatever. Call HR. It's one of my catchphrases, okay? But you see, James Gunn, okay, our example today, he had an assumption, just like he mentioned in the interview, that he was not loved. It took him to get fired. And this motherfucker is not in his 20s, guys. He's not like this guy who made the Backrooms, okay? This motherfucker's old. Okay, well, let's not shit on him. He's not old, but I mean, homeboy, he's got the Jack Frost, you know, fucking spikes with the receding hairline, you know, which, by the way, it looks good, by the way. Come on, man. You know, I give him credit. He has style, right? But homeboy is not a spring chicken. Bak, okay? It took him all these years and a fucking termination to $1 million contract practically for him to realize, oh shit, I'm actually loved. Right? Now, because he realized that he actually is loved, that became his new identity. And not only that, he fell asleep to it that night. He said that he fell asleep feeling happy, right? And, I mean, look, I don't want to fucking promote sats like if it is a must, like if it is a requirement. But, guys, when you fall asleep feeling like shit all the fucking time and, you know, always taking your anxieties, I mean, what did the scriptures say? Do not fall asleep. Don't let the sun go down with your anger. Okay, fix everything before you fall asleep. Internally, you gotta look at the end of, like, that's where this phrase comes from when they say at the end of the day, it's all gonna be okay, right? Because when you fall asleep in a certain identity, that is the identity that you're gonna wake up in, hands down. Okay, it's the same reason why when people go to bed drunk, they wake up with a hangover. You need to be awoken with a hangover of self-love. And that's what homeboy did, right? And it was such a drastic 360 of an identity shift when he saw Zoe Saldana crying, and then the girl who played Nebula, and then Dave Bautista, and all these guys, you know, Chris Pratt, all of them just showing love for him. Instead of saying, ew, we don't want to talk to you anymore because we got a job and you don't, haha, right? Which is probably what he thought. And you see, that's a lot of you guys, all right? Look, I'll tell you this. If a guy who's making fucking millions, who said that he might have been able, by selling his house, to at least survive for the rest of his life on the money that he had, right? This guy wouldn't have been fucking homeless, okay? Yet, if this guy is experiencing low self-concept, I know many of you guys are probably experiencing it too, right? So that's a lot of you guys right there. You might have this perception that you are not lovable. You might have this perception that you can't make that type of money, that you're not good enough to be an entrepreneur. Or you might have this perception that just because every relationship in your past failed, that you're never going to find that one person who's willing to commit to you. Dudes, you might think that you will never be able to bang a chick that is an 8 out of 10 for you or higher, right? Because you've just been with whales the whole time. But here's the thing. First of all, by the way, ladies, I love whales. I'm telling you. I remember I had a girl say, "Oh my gosh, why do you hate on fat people?" No, okay. You know what? Let's not get demonetized, okay? But either ways, you need to understand that the way that you see yourself is going to decide your fate. Okay? So really take a long look in the mirror. Or shall I say, not the mirror in your bathroom, but the mirror out here. You see, everything in your 3D right now is a mirror. It's not a mirror of what Andrew is doing. It's not a mirror of what Sally is doing. It is a mirror of who you've been this whole time. You see, James Gunn, when he got fired, that was a mirror of all of the years of him feeling like he wasn't loved coming back to him. Because I'll tell you this, rejection, whether it's through a job or whether it's through a relationship, is one of the number one results of you not loving yourself. People reject you when you reject yourself. Okay? I've experienced it with my ex. I remember, when we first met, things were fucking great. And within the first week or so, it just felt too good to be true. I even remember our first makeout session. She was eating my face. We're talking Hannibal Lecter style, okay? And she was calling me Poppy, all this shit, man. It was hot, right? And I even remember that despite the fact that it was we're talking the lighting was dim. She was wearing that cute Latina outfit. Oh my God. And yet I still, instead of enjoying the moment, I still just kept hearing in the back of my head, this is too good to be true, right? It might not have happened overnight, but within a couple of months or less, I already started to see the signs of her losing interest, right? Now, one could say it's because you double texted, bro. You didn't fucking do the... But here's the thing. It was simply a reflection of me seeing myself as this is too good to be true. Okay? Because I have seen people who have double texted who have kept their girlfriend. I have seen people who have done crazy shit and said racist, inappropriate stuff, and they still have a job, right? Don't you ever wonder why some people get away with murder? Don't you ever wonder why some people can get away with shit but you can't? It's not because people are playing by the rules. Society doesn't play by the rules. They play by your rules, and they are the rules you create. And what are the rules that you are creating? The rules of your self-concept, okay? So what I want you to do is, if you see people rejecting you, know that you're rejecting yourself. If you see that you're having issues at work, like that client of mine who told me that he got fired, it was some bullshit, okay? Literally, one of his coworkers was the one who was talking about that subject, and he just kind of agreed with it. But instead of the other coworker who was eavesdropping, blaming it on the one who started it, they blamed it on my client. And now he's struggling to find a job. And I told him the truth. I was like, bro, hands down, that is a sign of you. And I know you're going to say, oh, wow, Neil, like, how dare you? Like, why don't you fucking help him? Guys, I'm telling you the truth. I have been in the workforce since I was fucking 17, okay, at the same company. I've been at the same company since I was 17. I'm in my 30s now. I've done some fucked up shit, and they still don't want to get rid of me. Okay, I've borderline got to the point where I'm like, fire me. They still haven't fucking fired me. Okay? It has nothing to do with, I mean, sure, if you're fucking, going into work and just fucking throwing, feces at people's faces, sure, maybe you can guarantee that, but none of you guys are fucking doing that shit, okay? Let's use some common sense here, okay? As long as it's reasonable, we all know that some people get away with things more than others, okay? And again, you guys don't wonder why that is. It's simply because it is a reflection of your self-concept, okay? If you see people rejecting you, you're rejecting yourself. If you see shit is going on at work and you just can't get the upper hand, it's because you're not giving yourself the upper hand. So now the $1 million question is, how do you take control of this? How do you change what's going on out here? By understanding it's a mirror and understanding it will only mirror yourself. So whether that's through you saying affirmations whenever you feel the need to rampage about yourself throughout the day, when you're feeling down, like you say, all the gods worship me. Yeah. People sacrifice things at the altar of my throne just to breathe the air of my existence. I am so fucking wise. I make Einstein look retarded. I'm the most amazing creation. I'm God's favorite creation. Talk about yourself highly. And when we say the 3D, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're not just talking about in your job or in your relationships. We're talking up here. This is the one that a lot of people don't realize is the part of the 3D. They think because it's inside your head that is internal. No, when we talk about the internal, we're talking about the consciousness, your intentional consciousness, not the intrusive thoughts. The intrusive thoughts that you can't control, that is the 3D. Okay? Like the thoughts of this guy is going to cheat on me. This guy's going to cheat on me like the other guys. Or, dude, I can never get a hot girl anymore, bro. I can only fucking manifest wells. Dude, that is an intrusive thought right there. You're basing it off of the past, which is a part of the 3D. The only way you know that the past even occurred was because it's in your consciousness. It's in your memories, okay? That's why I tell my clients to revise the past and to just act like it never happened. Or to revise it and tell yourself that it went the way that you wanted it to, right? But you need to take the motherfucking bull by the horns, and every single time that you notice your thoughts, your consciousness, your focus going on how shitty your life is, how shitty your relationships are, how much you struggle with finances, how much you hate yourself. Like, I have clients who flat out talk so low about themselves, and they wonder why they are not getting that fucking date and everyone's flaking on them. They wonder why they can't even fucking afford a job at Domino's. Listen to what you're fucking saying. Every single time that you notice your mouth about to open and say something like that, you got to catch yourself and you got to replace it, whether you say it out loud or whether you say it internal. I am the most perfect human being. Whether it's just simply saying I am loved, right? Whether you simply say I am perfect. But me, I like to go above and beyond and say that the gods fucking worship the toilet that I shit in, whatever. Whether you want to use my self-pedestalizations, like, the ones that I send to my clients daily who get the package, the cheapest package on my stand store, links are in the description. A lot of people have said they had overnight results. Why? Because they're so used to talking shit about themselves. They never even have thought about saying something crazy like all my SPs worship me and they have a life-size poster of me on their wall that they pray and bow down to every single night. Okay, it's not just to fucking have a good laugh, which sometimes you can when you say those things, but it's to fucking wake yourself up and to shut up the fucking ego, right? Because it likes to have a lot of fun saying that your life sucks just because you fucking stepped on a Lego trying to turn on the AC in the middle of the night. No, you're perfect. Fuck the Lego. The Lego was happy to even touch your skin. Now it's blessed forever because it just touched the body of a god, right? Whether you do this through affirmations or whether you fall asleep at night seeing inner conversations and imaginal acts of people just praising you and worshiping you, or just you simply seeing yourself loved by everyone and everybody's saying, dude, it's so nice to fucking see you. Or you're at a party and everybody is like, there he is. you know? Or fuck, I mean, every single time you walk in the office, everybody's just so fucking happy. They're greeting you. You can't even go to your seat before you got 20 hellos, whatever it looks like for you. Okay? You know, all HR is, you know, sucking your cock, whatever. Okay? Everywhere you go, they cannot stop looking at you when you walk down the street with your big booty, whatever it looks like, guys. But stop putting yourselves down, because I promise you, if you keep putting yourself down, everybody's going to bring you down with them. All right? I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I Am Awareness had to say. The links are down below if you want to work with me. Have a good day.